it going? Welcome back to my channel. I am Jamie and I am the Kansan Raider. I am in a different spot because my son is still up. You can hear him in the background. But yeah, we are down in my living room and I am needing to get this video done and recorded and put up. This is going to be my February and March wrap up. Better late than never. I have been kind of in a bit of a funk here lately, and I just haven't really, I don't want to say it's been a reading slump because it's been in other areas of my life, and I just been not really in the mood for anything. Is that a NASCAR? I just haven't been in the mood to really read. Thank you, buddy. And just, yeah. I did read some. I read a ton in my Bible. I'm very happy. I got some books done in the Bible. That was one thing I'm very happy about. That was one area I wasn't slacking in, was picking up my Bible. I still do that. It was the other areas I was just like, meh. Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about the books that I finished in the Bible over February and March. So I finished the book of Romans, Hebrews, Philippians, Esther, because in March it was the celebration of Purim, so I had to read Esther for that. Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon. I am so proud of how much I have read of my Bible this year. This is a lot more than what I have in the past, and so that is definitely showing up more. I've seen is that I make more time for my Bible now. So and also in this, I'm going to kind of talk about like my April plans. I don't exactly have a for sure set TBR for April. I kind of want to catch up on a couple books that I still have reading because of this little funk that I was in. I wasn't reading as much as I wanted to, but so far in the book, in the Bible, I have finished one book, and that is Amos. But I do plan, I'm halfway through Micah. I'm going to read Zechariah, Galatians, and Ephesians. I'm also reading the book of Mark right now for Passover because it is Friday the 11th and Passover starts soon. It's almost, well, actually, no, I think it's pretty much starting because according to Jewish culture, it starts at sundown, and that's pretty much getting ready to happen. So yes, bookmark. Oh, and I'm also reading Leviticus as well. So the books I have going right now are Leviticus, Micah, and Mark. On to books that I read in February. I have a couple that are physical and a couple that were on my Kindle. So I don't have all physical. But the first book that I finished was Letters of Grace by T. Bell. This was a reread for me. I finally have almost all of her physical copies. I'm waiting for my physical copy of Penance, which has not released yet. So that's why I don't have it. But I wanted to go back and annotate. So all the orange tabs are faith. All the yellow tabs are just quotes or scenes that I really enjoyed. I can definitely say this is my favorite book by T. Bell. I don't think any of her other books will really top this book for me. It'd be very hard. This is pretty much what they call a 6 out of 5 stars. That's how much I love this book. And it deals with a married couple who are pretty much in a rut. They have been together since they were 6 years old, and they have a 3-year-old daughter, and they're basically looking at divorce. And they have both kind of fallen away from, well, actually both have fallen away from God. There's no kindly, wow, kind of, they did fall away from God. So this is basically their growth back to God and back to themselves. I wish we had more books about married couples. We always get a ton of books about the start of the relationship and how it, you know, will get to marriage, but rarely do we have books like this where it shows marriage is not a walk in the park. It's very hard and you have to work at it. It's not like something, you know, that's just whatever, I'm gonna feel lovey-dovey all the time. No, that doesn't happen, and it really shows a good reality side of what can happen in a marriage if you do not take care of it. So the next book I read, this one is a Kindle. It was a ARC provided by NetGalley and the publisher, and that is With This Ring by Amy Clipston. This is, I rated it a 3-star because it was very forgettable for me. And I hate to say that, but I remember enjoying it while reading it. And they had a skate rink, which was pretty cool. But other than that, I can't remember much about it a month or two later. It is a second chance romance. I will put that out there. I do remember that. And I don't think they were just boyfriend and girlfriend. I think there was a chance that they could have been married, but don't quote me on that. The next book that I read is my first official 5-star of the year, because while I have read Letters of Grace and said it's a 6 out of 5 star, this was a reread, so I don't count it as my first big book of the year because I know I'm gonna love it. But this next book is my official 5-star, and that is Ariadne and the Legend of the Fire Rose by Christy A. Cole. Christy A. Cole is a booktuber here on Christian BookTube. I was a little nervous going into this because I really do know the author, and you know, and what if it was one of those where it just doesn't, like, myself would not jive with the work. But thankfully I got to deliver her the good news. She was my first 5-star of the year. I was very surprised by the pacing of this book. I don't think there was ever a slow moment. I just wanted to read it constantly. I did end up buddy reading this with some lovely ladies here on BookTube, and it was such a fun time. It was Letters of Grace, With This Ring, and Ariadne and the Legend of the Fire Rose. Those are my February reads. These next reads are my March reads. So the first one I ended up finishing was Kiss Me Tomorrow by Susan Shreve. This was one of the first books I ever bought at a Scholastic book fair. I do have one little tab in it, and it was just something I had to write down or else I would forget. But yes, I absolutely love this when I was a preteen and a little bit of a teenager. As a almost 32-year-old woman, not so much. I'm just not the target audience for this. This is a coming of age, and I totally forgot how nerve-wracking starting junior high is, because she is starting junior high. She's going into the 7th grade, and her best friend, oh, by the way, her name is Blister, or that's the alias she goes by. Her real name is Alyssa. She is best friends with a boy named Jonah, and they really make a big deal about his weight because I guess he's just a chubby kid, but he did have a radio TV talk show called Jonah and the Whale in 6th grade, and for a 6th grader to have that, kudos to you, man. Why everyone acted like he was such a nerd, I don't know, because when you're in 6th grade and you can make it like that, that's pretty big to me. But anyway, there's that. And then, of course, there's Jake. Not Jake Ryan, a different Jake. Jake Cutter. And it was almost like she wanted to write a bad boy without really knowing how 7th grade bad boys are, I guess. There's just some certain things that was supposed to be like bad boy-ish, but it was toned down. It was kind of confusing, but whatever. I rated it a 3-star. It wasn't as great as I remembered, but then again, I'm not the target audience, so that probably had a lot to do with it. The next one is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And y'all, this is my second time rereading this. It was a 4-star when I first read it. It is now a 5-star. Again, I read this with some lovely ladies here on BookTube. This was so enjoyable. I absolutely loved it. The second time around, it made me ready to go garden and be in spring. But right now, this week, we've had a good week. But the week before, we were going from 40s to 70s to like 60s. This week, we've been in the 70s for the most part. So I'm very happy for that. Yeah, this, as you guys can tell, it's starting to get dark outside. So it's going to get a little dark in here because the people before us didn't install lights in the main living area. I just have a lamp. But there is a lot of like natural light. I have a lot of windows, so when the sun is up, it's very well lit. Just when the sun is down, not so much. Next book was an ARC provided by the author to be on her street team, and that is Forget Me Not by B.R. Goodwin. This one sat between a 3.5 stars and a 4 stars. I ended up rating it 3.5 stars. There's just a few things that I wasn't a huge fan of, and I feel like I love her Sugar Tree romance more than this book, and I couldn't help compare it, even though they're separate. But either way, it's still pretty good. It does deal, I want to talk about a certain thing, but at the same time I don't, because it's the big twist. This is a grumpy sunshine trope, and the grumpy sunshine is what has the twist to it. So yeah, I highly encourage you to check this out. Also, the cover is really, really gorgeous. I really love the design of this cover. It's one of my favorites of the year. Now, to move on into the April reading, like I said, I've been in kind of a funk, so I haven't really been in the reading, but today that has been changing. Thank the Lord. It has been changing, and I'm starting to get into reading more, but yes, I'm trying to make sure I have everything. So I do need to finish In Search of a Prince by Tony Shell. Really loving it. As you guys can see, it is tabbed up. The yellow is actually the faith this time. The darker greens are pronunciations, and the lighter greens are quotes or scenes that I absolutely love. I think this will be my next 5-star. Again, I don't count The Secret Garden, or, well, I might count The Secret Garden because that was a 4-star. And it has moved up to a 5-star. So, you know, I'll count The Secret Garden. So this will be my 3rd 5-star. And I'm counting, like, I'm not very far into it, but I'm loving the story. And something drastic has to happen for me not to like it. I can now see the hype of Tony Shiloh, and I don't know why I waited so long to start this book. Okay, next I am starting my first vlog. I was going to do this last week, but again, the funk. But this is, I already forgot the book. The book that is helping me get out of my slump, besides In Search of a Prince, is When Forever Comes by, don't be mad at me if I get your name wrong, but Tawny Suchi? I'm hoping I got your name right. I'm on chapter 4 and loving the writing. I can't wait to see where this goes. Also, the male main character is super swoony. I'm loving him. And he's only been on page for like a chapter. And I'm like, ah! So, yay. I can't wait to get more of him. But that is the wrap up and the, I guess, TBR. It's just what I'm reading right now. I mean, I do have a TBR for all my Bible books, but in actual reading, I'm just gonna do my mood, and I think I'm gonna try and do... My dog just moved my table. I'm really gonna try and do, if you've seen it, you may not have, but I had recently posted a video of choosing books to read by a booktuber's favorite color. This one was for book lover Amanda, and I think, and by this one I do mean When Forever Comes. Her favorite color was pink. The cover is very pink. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna read those books and go from there. So, with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna hop off right now. I am sprinting with Chrissy's Purple Library. So we are gonna get some reading done. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!